quick video on the Pilgrim. I am in China right now. I don't have my setup, but basically this is a very hype set. The build and the design is pretty good. It's made out of metal. Like the carvings on the plating is very nicely done. Very beautiful set. You know, it's got this like very slick looking detail wise with like the whole, I don't know what's going on with the circles, but it's very cool. And the cable is one of the better ones as well. But does it live up to the hype? Yes and no. Yes, because in terms of resolution, to like the overall packaging and the accessories and stuff like that, it's probably one of the best at its price. The cable again is very good. The build quality is very good. Resolution wise, it's also slightly better than the Hype 4s and the Dusk. And no, because the Super Mix 4 is coming out and it's like 150 bucks. But let's talk about the Pilgrim first. Basically, the Pilgrim follows a clean, clear, balanced sound signature, similar to the Dusk, the Super Mix 4, and just a lot of other stuff that came out before it. Bass quality-wise, it's also like near the top of the price range. The texture, the decay, the attack, and just the separation and like the detail in the bass notes are probably on par with the Hype 4s and the Dusk. So like very good bass quality. The low end isn't as forward and impactful as the Hype 4s, which I have right here. It's not as like full sounding and heavy. It's less engaging overall, which is why I still like the Hype 4s better, like just bass wise. But you know, if you wanted something more balanced, cleaner, then the Pilgrim does the clean sound better than the Hype 4s and the Dusk. Vocal wise, the Pilgrim also has a normal presentation like the Dusk. It's not too forward, it's not too recessed, not too husky, and you know, not overly airy or sparkly either. It's very well balanced with like a little air like in the end notes or the voices. Again, it's nothing crazy, but it does lean on the safer side of things in terms of the sound. Most people will enjoy it, like just vocal wise. It's very clean, very clear. And versus the Dusk, which is very similar again sound wise, the vocals are better on the Pilgrim. It doesn't feel like stuck or weak in the final parts of the extension, because again, the Dusk is kind of like gimped out on the upper mids, and it doesn't really boost the vocals forward, so it's kind of like laid back, a little bit too laid back, a little bit weak in the vocals. The Pilgrim just feels more complete and detailed vocalized. The upper mids are a little bit better like extended, and it's a little bit more airy in the vocals, but not like sharp in the treble either. It's less metallic-y, you know, a lot more natural than the Dusk in my opinion. It's also a bit smoother without sacrificing the details, and it also has a little more sub bass, which makes it more engaging, and combined with the better vocals and the better extended vocals, like all in all, the Pilgrim is just a better version of the Dusk, from the sound to the build to the design, and even the cable. Like the whole unboxing experience is also a lot better than the Dusk. Now, under normal circumstances, I would say the Pilgrim would probably be the default rec as like a balanced all-rounder around $300, $400, but the Super Mix 4 does exist at $150, which is like 90% of the Pilgrim, like smoother even, but for more than 2 times less. Very tough competition out there. The Super Mix 4 is basically like a mini version of the Pilgrim, like 90% of it. Similar sound, clean, clear, you know, another all-rounder, but the difference is that the Pilgrim has better bass and a little bit more resolving. So that's like the main difference, but I don't know if I would, you know, spend $400 on the Pilgrim when something like the, you know, the Super Mix 4 exists, which does the all-rounder sound like very good already at a quote-unquote endgame level. And you know, I would just save up for something else, like something more different in the tuning, and I would just get Super Mix 4, kind of just like wait around and see what comes out. And then on the other hand, there's also the EM10, which is still on release. I don't know the price yet, but you know, the version SimGot sent me sounds very like again, very similar sound wise. It's clean, it's clear, it's balanced, you know, it's an all-rounder. And after A/Bing these back and forth, the EM10 is a better version of the Pilgrim. It's similar, but just more airy, more detailed. It's smoother as well. The low end is also punchier, like the mid bass just like slams harder. The sound kind of wraps around your head more as well, making the EM10 more immersive than the Pilgrim, where the Pilgrim just more chill, it's more laid back. It's like inoffensive in a way, right? It just kind of does its job. So knowing SimGot, they're probably going to price the EM10 like pretty competitively. Like if this comes in at like around $399 or maybe even a little bit more, like $450, it's basically game over for the Pilgrim and the Dusk, especially the Dusk, since this is just a straight up better version over the Pilgrim. Clean, clear, balanced, all-rounder, but just done better. If you look at the graph, it's basically a mini Monarch Mark III, and you know, it sounds like mini Mark III. It doesn't sound as, I guess, like airy and with the ESTs, but it does its job. It's very, very good. And I think the only sets that won't be affected by the EM10 and the Super Mix 4 would be the ones that kind of specialize in some area, like, you know, the Hype 4, for example, you know, with this more impactful low end. It's fuller, the bigger sound, and others like the CKLVX, the Pula. That's more airy, more dreamlike in its presentation. And then you got the warm bassy sets like the Dischinkos and stuff like that. But just a heads up on the Dischinkos, they have been silently retuned. I don't know why companies keep doing this, but they have been silently retuned. It's a little bit brighter now, so not as bassy, but you know, going off of some reviewers, they do still sound good, but just I guess not as warm and bassy. So just a heads up on that. So all in all, would I recommend the Pilgrim? Kind of. Like if you're going to come out with another all-rounder, then you have to compete with the Super Mix 4, which is a value monster, right? So that's a losing battle. And if you want to price it higher, then you got the EM10 sitting there just like staring you down. I think companies need to stop playing it safe tuning wise if you want to survive, because SimGod has been like really cranking up their game, right? They're killing everyone out there right now. So if you really need a set right now, I would say sure, go for it, because the Super Mix 4 and the EM10 doesn't exist yet. They are still good IEMs, right? But I don't know if it's worth it if the EM10 does come out. Personally, if I were to make a purchase decision, I would wait for whatever is coming out, the EM10s, probably some other sci-fi stuff as well. You know, it's probably going to be very competitive in the upcoming months, or you know, go something different, more different, right? Like the Hype 4s, the CKLVX, the T2. Unless you just really dig the design and the build, because it is very beautifully made, the craftsmanship is very, very nice, then you know, it's a fair factor, right? You know, it's if you like the aesthetics, go for it. It's your money. QC wise, I can't really graphic it because they sent me a 4.4mm version with their like special connectors, so I can't really just like swap cables. That aside, I don't hear any like really noticeable channel imbalances, so I do hope Elysian has improved their QC. You know, hopefully they improve their customer service as well, because these are a pretty nice set. Just another thing, build wise, the plating like on the rings is already starting to show scratches. I think I had these for like maybe around a week, maybe under a week, and I have been pretty careful with these. Like given the QC, I don't want to throw them around. I have a channel imbalance, right? But like I haven't been like trashing them, throwing them, and they already are getting scratched. So just a heads up on the longevity. And also you might want to try like wider tips with these, because the Pilgrim is like a bit shallow in the fit, like depending on your ears. I tried them with the Senkai tips and they were a bit shallow on the right one, but with the Venus they fit just right and they work pretty great. But yeah, I'll do a full comparison with the Da Vinci and some other stuff once I get back, the Explorer, and then I think the Relentless from Kinura, right? But all in all, again, very solid release from Elysian. If you don't include the Super Mix 4 and the EM10, if it's in a vacuum, these are pretty good, but it's just very competitive right now. It's just that the release timing of the Pilgrim is a bit unlucky, a bit unfortunate, because if they released this like 2 or 3 months ago, this would be a pretty good set. It probably would be like a market leader, or at least like in the price bracket. But you know, SimGod did decide to go to war with the entire sci-fi market. You can't really beat them value-wise, so it's got tough competition, but what can you do? It is what it is. Anyways, just a quick video for now. I know some of you guys have been asking for these, but for any newer releases, those will have to wait until I get back. But I did schedule like videos every Friday before I left, so you know, stay tuned for those. But I mean, yeah, this is it, the Pilgrim. It's pretty good. And my prototype is coming in soon as well, so that's pretty cool. I'll be able to test it. But for now, that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see everyone in the next one. Shout out to Jeff Young, RawXCat, Cat, Dom Q, Star Buccaneers, Joel Pink, Discall Scaldus, B_Urac, Mystic Spoon Attack, Oh Really, Walker Standard, User, Ernest, Contain Guava Juice Gain, Patrick, Belcel Kel, Rodar the Calf, Perijat, Polly, Mr. Gorillas, Antoristo, Gis Sang Young, Tomat Pafrache, Ed, Harry, Christopher, Federico, Name, Henry, Son of a Horse, and 77ZK. Thank you guys so much for the support.